3, 2, 1, and we are live. Hey friends, it's Ernie with the Trader of Futures, and it's Wednesday. It's Hump Day. Never really understood Hump Day. Well, I guess that's for the working class, the middle of the week, going over the tipping point. It's all downhill from here, sliding into the weekend. For me, every day is a weekend. Every day. I have no schedule, no time frame, no nothing, no hump. There's no hump in my day, no hump in my week. But that's another story. Today, we are here to talk volume profile. A volume profile analysis of the market. Now, you may know, you may not know, that volume profile is my analysis technique of choice. It is not just mine, but it is the analysis technique of virtually most professional traders, hedge funds, investment banks. Not just recently or now, or it's not a new thing. This is an old thing. In the past, that's all they had to go by was volume, order flow. You know, the days of the ticker tape. To this day, volume profile is something that's hidden from the retail trader. But I've been teaching people. I've taught, well, how many people have I taught? Maybe over 100, I think. Maybe 150 people. I've taught them volume profile in my course on volume profile. And yeah, you can find that on the Trader of Futures website. Right here, Trade with Volume Profile. There it is. My head in the way? My head's in the way. All right, yep, there it is. 5-star reviews. 5 stars. If you're interested in signing up for the Volume Profile course, click on there. If we get enough people this week, we'll do it this Saturday. If not, we'll do it next Saturday. But volume profile, my friends, is where it's at. You don't need any indicators. You don't need chart patterns. You do not need technical analysis. What you need is a methodology that the pros use. Now, I'm not saying that technical analysis can't come into play. It certainly can. It can come in as a modeling tool and an assist. Quite frankly, you don't even need the chart pattern, the chart itself, because it's all actually in the volume profile. But it does help. It does definitely help. Trading without indicators. Now, you say, well, but the volume profile, it's an indicator, isn't it, Ernie? No. Volume profile is as much an indicator as the candlesticks are an indicator. You wouldn't consider the candlesticks an indicator now, would you? Of course not. Well, volume profile is a way of showing price, but showing the volume at that price. It has all the data that is actually included in the stream that is sent to your chart program, except for one thing, time. So by looking at volume profile, you are looking at price and volume at the same time. And specifically, you're looking at volume at specific price levels. Why is that important? Why? Why is that so important? I mean, shouldn't price action tell you everything? No, it shouldn't. It doesn't. And that has been the broker narrative for, well, coming on 30 years. They want you to believe that, because that's what makes the broker money, not you. Volume profile, price at volume, order flow is what the pros have been using since the 1800s and what they use today. They have a more refined version of volume profile these days, or a sort of a derivative of when volume, these type of charts were not available to them, that is called market profile. And it's very, very similar. Obviously, volume profile is going to give you what market profile cannot. There are some aspects of market profile that are useful, too, in terms of bringing in the time dimension. But, yeah, that is what we're going to be looking at today. Volume profile. Volume profile is what I use to call my calls on Bitcoin. I'm sure you're very familiar with that if you're a follower, and you know how accurate that has been. It is what I use for everything. Now, here's the other interesting thing. You say, well, yeah, Ernie, but you've got this AI thing. Does it do volume profile? No, it doesn't. It is a it is a system that does machine learning and takes all these different aspects of patterns and then looks at big data. It looks at huge data sets of patterns and finds patterns, and I guess you could call it almost like narratives. It takes small individual morsels of patterns and puts them together until it finds these narratives in the market, and then it matches it. Now, the cool thing, the reason why I'm mentioning this and why it doesn't have volume profile, we haven't programmed volume profile into the AI, but as good as this system is at coming up with scenarios that work, and the ones that trigger, at least over the last 4 months now, have been over 92% accurate, but on average, in the long run, they're better than 80% accurate. When you start looking at the setups, the entries, the exits, or the target levels, they match up almost precisely with the volume profile structure. You think, wow. So a machine went back and just looked at all the data, discovered patterns, and then it is 90% accurate, and those entries and target areas match up with volume profile? Isn't that strange? It's not strange. It just makes perfect sense. Because volume profile shows you where the market finds value and where it does not. Supply and demand. Supply and demand, isn't that what everybody always tells you? Let me ask you something. Can you look at a price chart and say, oh, I can see where the supply and demand is? No, you cannot, because it doesn't show you any of that information. It just doesn't. Without volume integrated into the price, it can't. Volume is supply. Lack of volume is lack of supply. How much volume you have, how little volume you have at particular levels is showing you where that demand is for that supply. Like, duh. So it really is the only tool. I'm not going to call it an indicator because it's not. It's actual primary data. It is the primary data off of the feed, right from the market. It is the only tool that allows you to see supply and demand, where the market finds value and where it does not. It is the only tool that can accurately tell you precisely where support and resistance is. It is the only tool that will tell you the most likely way that price is going to behave as it traverses various price levels. That is the power of volume profile. That is why it is such a valuable tool. And that is why I can build up these scenarios weeks, months in advance. Now, I'm not saying I pick the exact scenario every time. I mean, what I do is I look at the probabilities based on the trend, based on the bias, based on the current conditions that you sort of add into there. And from there, I can give you the most likely path that price is going to follow. Now, there may be more than one scenario. I might have a bullish path and a bearish path. I might have a bullish primary path and a bullish secondary path, etc. But you can use this information to put down very, very accurate trades. And that's the key. So today what we're going to do is we're going to look at, and I've been doing a little bit of this in past shows, and if you've been following, you'll see the charts. They haven't changed very much, and you'll see that so far they are following right along with my volume profile. All right. let's get to it. Let me start by getting the chat out here so that I can see what people are saying. How you doing, Bob? Will there be any specials on volume profile course coming up? Yes, there will be. There is a huge amount of negative sentiment in the market, and these days everyone is talking about the market going lower. Do you think that can something like a short squeeze? I don't know. All I know is, yes, I think the market is going lower, but not much lower. At least according to, I mean, the odds of it going way low is small. I think that we've hit a bottom, and we're starting to grind our way up. But this next low is definitely going to be a pullback, and I'm going to show you where the most likely places are that it will be pulling back to. That's what you see right over here, right there. You see my bear Nereo number 1, my bull Nereo number 2, and then right there my bull Nereo number 1. The bull Nereo number 1 has already hit almost precisely how I described it. Almost to the dollar. And now we're on our way to bull Nereo number 2. And we're already almost finished with the first leg of bull Nereo number 2. And I'll show you that in a second. So if you're joining now and you want to continue to see things like this, please go down to the like button, click that like button right now. It would really help. Also, this is an interactive program. All my shows are interactive. I expect you to ask questions, to engage with me through the chat. That's the deal. So, of course, I always do my little monologue. I talk about what we're going to talk about, tell you what we're going to do, start doing what I told you I was going to talk about, and then all the while I'm looking to see what you're saying and what your opinion is or what your question is. All right? But I'm surprised. We only have Bob here. Typically we have, 10, 20, 30 people out there chiming in. So, anyways, join in if you would like. All right, so what I'm going to do, first off, do a little house cleaning here. Oh, I need a shave again. Damn, this beard grows fast. That's why I had the goatee or the beard I had before, because it's just a pain in the ass shaving. And when you don't have to go to an office, like I don't have to, and haven't gone for, I don't know, 20 years. You don't have to shave. You don't have to look presentable. Although these days, I think that's starting to come de rigueur, the half-shaven face man. Although my beard my beard's been white for 15 years. I went prematurely bald and white in my 30s and 40s. All right, on to the markets. We're going to take a look at the E-mini S&P. And we've been following that right along. Definitely got it wrong in terms of direction back in December. That's when we had that Chinese CFO that got arrested up in Canada, that CFO of Huawei, that we're having all this hubbubaloo about. We're all worried about the Chinese and they're stealing our technology. And this woman also violating our sanctions with Iran. Well, this woman, this company that she represents. And that I think is what caused that initial dip down in the market the one that I'm showing you right here, this dip here. I mean, I had gone long here, and we started to go up, and then when she got arrested, I think it was here, right there, it just went straight down. And we panicked. The market panicked. And then it finally caught its breath and then started to go up. And then once it had a pullback and then got beyond this pullback and above this level here of 2,500, it became apparent to me that the bottom was in, and that's what I called. All right. So we've been going up since then, and once we get up to this next inflection point, we had enough data in the volume profile that I could start making some accurate predictions for the near-term future. And so if we were to zoom in on this, and that's what we're going to do, we're going to zoom in on this a bit. All right. So at this point here, there was a pattern here after these 3 up days, and then this pattern here, the advanced block. That was a pattern that I got from Bulkowski. I said that there was a very high likelihood that we were going up from here, and that's when I drew in this purple arrow. All right. So after that pullback, that's what I drew in. So we started to go up. And from there, I had predicted at the same time that we would have a small pullback. And that was this arrow right here. Now, all of this was drawn in back, I don't know, 3 weeks ago. And I said there is a possibility that we would have, that would be bull Nereo number 1. It would pull back and then go back up, right? Up to this level here of 26.75, 74. So all of these purple lines, bull Nereo number 1 and bear Nereo number 1, as well as bull Nereo number 2, were drawn in about 2.5, 3 weeks ago. So we can see that, and I drew it in right here, the beginning of January, first week of January. So, well, it's been about 2 weeks now. Week and a half. So that's when all of this was drawn in. All right. So we came up, and then here, this little arrow here represents this pullback. It was an intraday pullback, but it did pull back. And then I said we would go back up to this level here, and then that's what this continuation is right here. So we completed bull Nereo number 1. All right. So let me draw over that so that you can see that. All right, so bull Nereo number 1 was this. That. Let me draw that in again so you can see. Bull Nereo number 1 was up here, down, and then up, and then stop right there. All right, so we've completed that. That includes this candle right here. All right, and then bull Nereo number 2 was to then pull back down to this level of 25.90 or so. And that's what we're starting right now. And that is this right here. And the idea is we'll come down here and then up to there, like that. That is bull Nereo number 2, represented by these orange lines. All right. Obviously, they don't overlap and everything because there's not a lot of room here. So I put them off to the right so that you can see there. So it's independent of time is what I'm showing you here, that I'm doing it strictly based on the volume profile. Now, what am I keying off on the volume profile? That's the important part. All right, so Philip is asking, how do you determine the probabilities of your different scenarios? in general, I look at things as, you know, 1/3, 2/3, or 100%. And then I adjust a little bit based on how bullish or bearish the market is. So when I said that we were going up here on bull Nereo number 1, 65%, that's approximately 2/3. I said that it's a very strong possibility because of the strength of this bull run, all right? But we were coming up against some strong resistance, and so therefore I put in the possibility of a Nereo number 2, or I'm sorry, a bear Nereo number 1, and where the likely places that we would drop down, again, based on the volume profile. So that was my first 100%, right? 65% up, 35% down. The 65% up obviously won out. Now we have this next one, bull Nereo number 2. We are full on into this bullish run, so therefore I'm going to give that 2/3 a little bit more strength and make it closer to a second standard deviation move, which is closer to 80%, but I don't feel it's quite there yet. All right, because there's still a lot of political or geopolitical pressures in the market. So I give it about 75% of now pulling back to a reasonable place. Now, so far it's pulled back. Let's see, I'll get rid of. So far it has pulled back to here. Let me draw a line. It is pulled back right to there. And but I think it can go right to here. That would be the full pullback. That would be this line right here. And then I expect it then to go up. So this is bull Nereo number 2. So this is what I'm saying has about a 75% chance. This is a very typical volume profile pattern, or a market profile, market delta pattern. So I'm giving this about a 7. Now it may not pull all the way back here. You know, there's no rule that says it has to pull all the way back, you know, to this level right here. I mean, so far it's pulled back to here. You know, so I guess it could do this. And I'm basing that on, again, the volume profile. We have an edge here. Whoop. We have an edge here, and we have an edge here, and we have a gap, a volume well. So we're either going to find support right here, or we're going to pass through that well and find support there. Because we don't hang around in wells. We either bounce off them or we pass through them very quickly. All right. Now, this is a pattern that you see all the time, what I call the parent-child pattern. All right. So let's get rid of these guys. So we have a parent node and a child node. And a very typical pattern is to pass through the parent node, back down to the child node, and then come back up, passing through the parent node altogether. So in other words, this is a very typical pattern where you pass up, down to the child node, and then up like that. Of course, in the volume profile course, I'll show you all these different little patterns that happen and an understanding of how this all works and strategies that you can build around that. Tetherman.com Bubble 2.0. That is way too long of a name, but it's okay. Ernie, what's your take on Deutsche Bank shares? I'm planning to buy at $5. You know, I don't know about specific stocks. I'm not following stocks right now. I'm really doing the market. So I'm sorry, I don't have an answer for you. Adam, I think we go to 2,500 range and bounce. Seems more likely with all the market FUD going on. Has nothing to do with the FUD. Well, I'm sorry. It has to do with FUD, but the level has nothing to do with FUD. The level has everything to do with where the market has found either value or not value. That is what it's going to do. To pick an arbitrary level of 2,500 means nothing to the market. A lot of people think it does, but it doesn't. It means really nothing. However, I will say in your defense that around 2,500 or 2,512, there is a significant area of support there. Now, but why would it go all the way down there? I don't know. I mean, the market FUD, there's not that much market FUD right now, so that's what I'm having a hard time reconciling with what you're saying, Adam. I really, sure, there's some political FUD, but it is being trounced on or eliminated by the strong economic data. So that's my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's the way I see it. I see that the actual economic data is just too strong to ignore, particularly the job situation and the rise in overall wages, the productivity, the quality of jobs that are out there, and the fact that our unenrolled people are now starting to come back onto the labor force and being counted in the employment statistics. And even with that additional millions of people coming back into the labor force, the unemployment level is still staying down, which means that there are way more jobs being created than what is being reported. Either that or there's going to be a lag in that reporting. It will show up in future job reports. Because you can't have people coming into the job market and then, those maybe those jobs didn't get created. Maybe they were already there. They're just rejoining. I don't know. I don't know how they go about this. But to say that something that is decelerating a bit is not the same as saying that we have a retraction in growth. It means that the economy is still expanding. It's just not expanding quite as quick. But that's not unusual either. It doesn't go on a continuous expansion. It goes, in waves. Nothing goes in a straight line. Nothing just goes. It goes like this. Kind of like that. So when you have those little retractions, sure, the people who are really negative are going to think, oh, we're failing. Oh, we're failing. Oh, we're failing. It doesn't make any sense. Man. All right, let's take a look at something else like oil. Oil. Can you imagine that at one point this beard was dark brown and red? I got a little bit left in the corners here. That's it. Even my eyebrows. Holy crap, am I getting old. I don't feel old, though. I feel great. Alrighty, do you follow Jeff Gundlach? If not, you definitely should. I do not know who he is. Never heard the name. Not sure why I should follow him. But I'm always looking for good information. And if you're suggesting that he has something going on, then let's take a look and see who the hell he is. He's an American investor and business person. He is the founder of Double Line Capital LP, an investment firm. He was formerly the head of the $9.3 billion TCW Total Return Bond Fund. Well, those are pretty darn good credentials. He's 2 years old. Well, no, he's the same age as me. He's worth $2 billion. He sounds like somebody you'd want to follow, huh? Thing is, would I follow him on Twitter? Oh, I'm already following him on Twitter. Wouldn't you know? So I've heard of him before, at least in passing, but I haven't been like... He does have a website. Oh, he's in L.A. I'll have to talk to my partner about him, see if he knows him. Probably does. I may be telling you a lot less than I actually know. All right. Double line. All right, so Iceman J says, Ernie, isn't the job numbers fake? Didn't Obama care for companies to split full-time jobs into 2 part-time? Yeah, but that was Obama. It's a different story now. We have a different chief. He's not into that fake shit, that pretend shit. Obama, yes, he had to do everything he could to fudge the numbers to make them look good, while the unenrolled numbers just kept on rising. And jobs totally sucked, and the economy was going nowhere. The Fed was assisting him by keeping interest rates super low while he got to spend as much money as he wanted with little to no risk because it didn't cost anything. As soon as Trump gets in there, they start raising interest rates more and more and more, and the cost of borrowing starts going up and up and up, making it even more difficult to get over that hump. Yet it still did. The economy kept on expanding under his policies, and all those people that were on the unenrolled lines are now starting to come back into the workforce, even under the more expensive environment. So that is the actual story. Is it true the USA is the top oil producer? Yes, it is. We are the #1 exporter of oil in the world, more than OPEC, or more than Saudi Arabia, more than any individual country. I don't know about all of OPEC because it is a number of countries together, but we are the #1 exporter of oil. We are, in essence, and this is something that also isn't being reported by the media. We are energy independent. Yet, the left, what they want to do is take the #1 sector, energy, the #1 growth sector in the past 2 years, the #1, and they want to destroy it. They want to destroy it. They want to completely dismantle it and replace it with socialism. What the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with these people? Holy shit! They're also trying to convince us that capitalism is dead. Yes, their version, their subverted, totally crap version of capitalism, which isn't capitalism, is dead, and real capitalism is coming back. Or trying to come back. We still have a lot of hurdles to come over. Damn. Is it true? Okay, Jay, making the jobs report fake. There are 2 jobs. Okay, one today. What say you? That's bullshit. That's an Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez talking point. If you believe anything that dim-witted bitch has to say, then you deserve her. Really. Seriously. Watch his webcast on Double Liner website. I will. Double Line. He corrects. Yeah, I know a little bit about Jeff, by the way. We shall expose his website. Here's his website. He has a Twitter, D-Line Cap, webcast, and a podcast. Can't see it with my fat head in the way, can you? The guy's a billionaire. Must respect those billionaires, unlike Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who thinks they are the scourge of the earth, as well as Mr. Cuomo in New York, who wants to redistribute, and Blasio redistribute. He thinks that the billionaires have way too much money, must redistribute it. Because, oh no, they don't create any jobs, do they? They just hoard all their money, those greedy little bastards. That is the socialists think. Unfucking believable. So, yeah, we got a podcast on iTunes. Double Line Funds, webcast podcast. Pretty cool. We shall have a report on the Jeff Man sometime soon. Mike Contra, socialism is for the want to be enslaved. Totally un-American. Yeah, they're like cucks. They want to be enslaved. It's just unbelievable. They want despair. They want misery. What is that? What the fuck is that? They want everybody to suffer. They want the lowest common denominator. Bring everybody down to the dirt, and they'll feel better. They're evil. Socialism is evil. Holy crap. Chili Willy says, "What's up, Ernie? Tuned in, and I hope I didn't miss you freaking out on anybody." No, it is a total freak out. The entire show. What's going to happen to the 50 million Americans on food stamps next month? Will they go for jobs? Yeah, that's the thing. It's quite an incentive when you don't have any food stamps to put food on your table. You have to go get a job, and there's plenty of them out there for them. And what the fuck are they on food stamps anyways if they're employed? Holy shit. Get these people off their fucking asses. Get to work. Start a job. Start a business. No better way than to put a little pressure on them. That is what capitalism is about. It forces us to be our best. Instead of sucking off the tit of the nanny state. God damn. It makes me so mad. Anyways. We're doing our best on this end to rectify this situation. That's all I can say. Robert Leonardo says, "I think Trump will break the Dems with the shutdown. They will give in with, of course, some compromise." I don't think Trump wants to compromise. Right now, they're trying to come up with some legislation that will put everybody back to work. But if the Republicans were smart, they wouldn't do that without getting what they need out of border security. Trump liquidating like BitMEX right now. What do you mean he's liquidating? Well, see, that's the other thing. Here's a guy worth billions of dollars. His net worth has gone down tremendously. And they're trying to impeach him based on the emollients. I just don't understand. End all government assistance within 6 months. Motivation to find a job or a church to help the needy. Well, that's, I agree that the one sure way to get people back to work is to say, we ain't giving you shit no more. You're on your own. And either they go into the gutter, or they're going to pick themselves up and say, shit, I got to do something. And they may find something in themselves that they never knew was there. Most likely they will. Ernie, do you think that a market top is unlikely if there is no retail euphoria? Well, retail definitely is the fuel behind our economy. And if you have people working, you're going to have people buying. And the more people we have more working, the more people there will buy, and therefore there will be more demand, there will be more retail, more businesses, etc. He is definitely a billionaire. But that's, Alex, that is just a Democrat talking point. They'll do anything to talk him down. I don't think Trump changed any of the reporting procedures for economic indicators from the Obama era. That's why Trump is showing the economy booming right now. He is using the fake report. The one thing that has changed, and even if he hasn't changed anything, the one thing that has changed is that the numbers of enrolled workers, the number of unenrolled workers has been diminishing steadily. That means that they're going back into the workforce. At the same time, the job rate, the unemployment rate has been going down. So imagine that. More people coming into it, yet the average number of people working is going up. Why does not Shadow Stats unemployment show a decrease? I don't know. I really don't care. I can see it. Everywhere you look, there's prosperity. The unenrolled are going back to work. Now, what do we have? We have trolls in here that just want... I understand being a contrarian, but it's undeniable. The cost of money is way more now, yet the unemployment goes down, the unenrolled list gets smaller. There's nothing else to say. You can go, a good way to look at this is to monitor job sites like Indeed or Simply Hired. Go monitor them. See the quality of the jobs, the number of them, and you will see a huge difference between now and before Trump. Big difference. Probably the easiest way to do that, I wonder if, would that be possible? Can it be, yeah, you could probably use archive.org to go back and then look at some of those jobs. I'm not sure exactly how that would work with a dynamic site in archive.org. All right. We're going to talk a little bit about oil. This was also in the Trump plan, and that is to keep oil down. Oil is a tax on our economy. There are states like California, where you still have to pay over $4 a gallon for oil, for gasoline. In Massachusetts, we don't have the same kind, although we are highly taxed. Not anywhere like California. And even for premium, we're paying still well under $3. Well under $3 a gallon. So states like California are taxing their people into the grave. They are doing everything that they can to stop economic growth, to increase the size of government, as if that is the answer. And it is not. Increased government is not the answer to economic growth. They do not have the answers. The people that work for government, are they the people that you would want working for your business? No! They go to work there because they can get away with shit. Fart around all day. There are some people that work hard, I'm sure, in government. There is, you know, it's the old 80-20 Pareto principle. There are people that do work hard and they're carrying the weight for all the other loafers. Although in government, I bet you the 80-20 is more like 90-10. It's probably a place where I'm sure the ratio still works. It's all right, Alex. It's up, but it's not stellar. I don't care. It's up. So I've drawn in some major resistance here on oil. We can see there's been a huge, huge decline from its peak here at about $77. All right, got all the way down to $42 or so. We have a little dead cat bounce, but I think that we're going to continue down. So again, this is one of those patterns where we come up through a big volume node, down through it, and then we'll come back down here. Now, we may hover somewhere between, I think, in the $40 to $55 range or $52 range. I think that that's going to be our range for at least maybe the next year or so. So maybe I'll draw that in right now. That is my predicted range. We'll say that, you know, the most likely is probably going to be, yeah, right about there. That is going to be our range going forward. If we stay in this range, that's going to spur unbelievable economic opportunity. And I think we'll stay in there for a while. The Fed's probably going to go through another 2, maybe 3 rate increases. I don't understand why. All they're doing is causing an inverted yield curve, which isn't healthy. I think what Trump needs to do is get Powell out of there. He made a mistake with him. Well, it's hard not to make a mistake when you're hiring a Fed governor or a chairperson. They're all corrupt. They're all in the same club. All right, so there's oil and the markets. Of course, we have Bitcoin, which had the big bull pennant here, and it broke out of there. My target is still 2,000. I think we'll move sideways and start drifting down, kind of a... I think it's going to do something like this. What happened to my... I need to bring this back. I think it's going to go like this. Might be more... Could even go like this. You know, like I said, time isn't my thing, but that's what I think it's going to how it's going to move down. We might even get as it's going down like this, we may get a few desperate attempts by some whales where it will do like this. And everybody will get all excited thinking that was the bottom as we hit new lows. And then it will continue down. Got a fair amount of volatility in the market today, that's for sure. And today, we do have one trade that triggered, and that is a breakout trade on the euro. Our Dow trade from yesterday came in here real strong. Here was the entry right here for the Dow trade. You can't see it because my fat head's in the way again. It's down here in the lower middle. Yesterday I talked about the natural gas trade, that it would be on a breakout. It never broke out, so it never triggered. The Dow trade did trigger. It was a buy down here at about 24,220. Came down, hit, went up, almost made it to the target. But this is a huge winner, and now is retracted. Same thing with bonds. Came down, hit, came back up, hit the target. Here we have the euro. It has just barely pierced our breakout point, so that trade is on. The S&P 400 mid-cap, it needs to come up to here, but I don't think that's going to happen today. If it does, then we're going to take a short like that, with that as a target. So there you go. These are all AI calls. Still working on better, almost a 90% profitability rate for those things that have triggered. About 35% of all the alerts get triggered. And of those that get triggered, right now we're working about a 92% win rate, whereas 70% of them reach the target or exceed the target. That is just out of this world performance, and that is available on traderofutures.com. I think tonight I'll start talking about the volume profile course that I'll be holding, and again, that'll either be this Saturday or next Saturday. There will be a coupon code for it, where you can get some money off on the cost of that. It's normally $500 for the course. That includes support and entry into our private chat area. All right. So, training, support, all that good stuff. True Grit says, "Hey, Ernie, how you doing, True Grit? How about the Indian chief getting into the face of that young kid?" Oh, the Covington kids, yep. In the 50s, he'd never get away with that. Yeah, but you know what? They reacted, I think, appropriately. What that really was a media fake news. They say jumping to conclusions, but they purposely do that. They knew that the whole story and exactly what transpired. Kids were just waiting for a bus. These black, Israel, Jewish, which they are neither, racists were over there taunting them. And then this Indian guy, who is a known agitator and has pulled the exact same stunt in false flag operations before, went then to further taunt them, taking advantage of the situation. And then the news only reports a very small sliver of the total event and mischaracterizes the whole thing, and it becomes another fake news story. Man, the fake news has been coming out of the media this past week nonstop, like that BuzzFeed article too. They are just too much. How can you trust the news? You can't. It's sad, really sad. They're a dying breed. I think the mainstream media will be going away, and that'll be replaced by a plethora of internet-based news. That's what's got to happen. Unless they get their act together. All right, people, I want to thank you very much for joining me. And we're going to cut it off from here, and we have to say bid farewell. We shall see you tomorrow, approximately the same time, around noon, maybe 1 o'clock. And we'll be talking about the trades that we called here and see how they are setting up. And look, look, if you're having problems trading, then consider one of our options. The volume profile course is an awesome way to start. You'll be able to manage and call these markets yourself, pick sane places, or come into our AI setups, our artificial intelligence service, where we have the AI mentor in there to provide mentorship and get you on the right track, giving you awesome signals and then helping you out with your position sizing and trading acumen. That is a fantastic service. For the money, I mean, it's just unbelievable. All right, everybody, I want to thank you very much. Now I have to find, I always say this without first finding the exit button. Then I have to do exactly what I'm doing right now. I gotta find the exit button. If there's somebody that you need me to beat on tomorrow, just let me know. And I'll judge whether or not they're worthy of being beat upon. But for now, thank you all. Take care. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.